doesn't know this is recording.
I'm a hula dancer.
Okay, ready? Okay, definition. Marijuana, cannabis, also known as Indian hemp, is a member of the Cannabiaceae or hemp family, thought to have originated in the mountainous district of India, north of the Himalayan mountains. The herb was referred to as hemp in AD 1000 and listed in a dictionary under the English name. Supporters of the notorious Pancho Villa first used the name marijuana in 1895 in Sonora, Mexico. They called the mood-altering herb they smoked marijuana. The term hashish is derived from the name for the Saracen soldiers called Hashians. Yeah, Hashins. Who ingested the highly potent cannabis resin before being sent out to assassinate enemies. That's funny.
Kevin, you want to go assassinate enemies?
Yeah. This drug makes
Alicia.
Two related species of cannabis are C. ruderalis and C. indica.
Let's search up types of marijuana.
Hold on, a variety known as Indian hemp. Indian hemp grows to a height of about 4 feet.
4!
And the seed coats have a marbled appearance. Ooh, fancy. The species Sativa L, C. Sativa L, has many variations depending on the soil temperature and light conditions and the origin of the parent seed. These factors also affect the relative amounts of THC, I ain't saying that word, and cannabidiol chemicals present in varying amounts in cannabis that determine if the plant is primarily a fiber type or an intoxicant. Generally, the species grown at higher elevations and in hotter climates exudes more of the resin, and it's more medicinally potent. Anyways, medicinally potent. Yeah. Marijuana is a somewhat weedy plant and may grow as high as 18 feet.
Fuck! Damn! Imagine that!
The hairy leaves are arranged opposite one another on the erect and branching system. Leaves are palmate and compound, deeply divided into 5 to 7 toothed and pointed leaflets. Male and female flowers are small and greenish in color and grow on separate plants. Male flowers grow in the leaf axils in elongated clusters. The female flowers grow in spike-like clusters. The resinous blossoms have 5 sepals and 5 petals. The male and female blossoms can be distinguished at maturity. The male plant matures first, shedding its pollen and dying after flowering. Female plants die after dropping the mature seeds. Marijuana produces an abundance of quickly germinating seeds. This hardy annual is wind pollinated and has escaped from cultivation to grow wild along roadsides. Wow, really? Roadsides, trails, stream banks, and in wayside places throughout the world. The plant matures within 3 to 5 months after the seed has been sown. History. Marijuana has been cultivated for thousands of years. Cannabis was first described for its therapeutic use in the first known Chinese pharmacopoeia, the Pinsao. A pharmacopoeia is a book containing a list of medical drugs and their descriptions of preparation and use. Cannabis was called a superior herb by the Emperor Shen who is believed to have authored the work. Cannabis was recommended as a treatment for numerous common ailments. Around that same period in Egypt, cannabis was used as a treatment for sore eyes. The herb, it's funny because it makes you look like you have sore eyes. The herb was used in India in cultural and religious ceremonies and recorded in Sanskrit scriptural texts around 1400 BC. Cannabis was considered a holy herb and was characterized as the soother of grief, the skyflyer, and the poor man's heaven. That's funny. Centuries later, around 700 BC, the Assyrian people used the herb they called kanabu for incense. Ooh, they used it for incense.
I want those now.
The ancient Greeks used cannabis as a remedy to treat inflammation, earache, and edema, swelling of a body part due to collection of fluids. That's interesting. Shortly after 500 BC, the historian and geographer Herodotus recorded that the peoples known as Scythians used cannabis to produce fine linens. They called the herb cannabis and inhaled the intoxicating vapor. Ooh, that resulted when it was burned. That's interesting. We should try that.
When it was what?
When it was burned,
Well, what does it do?
they inhaled the intoxicating vapor. Yeah, that guy. Anyways, by the year 100 BC, the Chinese were using cannabis to make paper. Cannabis use and cultivation migrated with the movement of various traders and travelers. That's nice. We still haven't learned anything about it really, I don't think. Listen to this. By the 1300s, government and religious authorities concerned about the psychoactive effects on citizens consuming the herb were placing harsh restrictions on its use. The Emir Sudan Shekhuni of Jonima outlawed cannabis use among the poor. Yes. He destroyed the crops and ordered that offenders' teeth be pulled out. Jesus. In 1484, Pope Innocent VIII outlawed the use of hashish, a concentrated form of cannabis. Cannabis cultivation continued, however, because of its economic value. A little more than a century later, the Queen Elizabeth I issued a decree commanding that landowners holding 60 acres or more must grow hemp or pay a frickin' fine. Commerce in hemp, which was primarily valued for the strength and versatility of its fibers, was profitable and thriving. Hemp ropes and sails were crossing the sea to North America with the explorers. By 1621, the British were growing cannabis in Virginia, where cultivation of hemp was mandatory. In 1776, the Declaration of Independence was drafted on hemp paper. Both President George Washington and President Thomas Jefferson.
Imagine rolling a joint with hemp paper.
That would be insane. Were advocates of hemp as a valuable cash crop. Jefferson urged farmers to grow the crop in lieu of tobacco. What?
So he didn't want tobacco. He didn't want tobacco.
Yeah! Bring back Thomas Jefferson. By the 1850s, hemp had become the third largest agricultural group grown in North America. The U.S. Census of that year recorded 8,327 hemp plantations, each with 2,000 or more acres in cultivation. By the invention of the cotton gin was already bringing many changes, and cotton was becoming a prime and profitable textile fiber. More change came with the introduction of the sulfite and chlorine processes used to turn trees into paper. Restrictions on the personal use of cannabis as a mood-altering psychoactive herb were soon to come. Dun dun dun.
Say that?
Yep. Dictionary says, noun, the cannabis plant, or a preparation made from the dried flower clusters and leaves of the cannabis